Yo. Cultureology. We in this.
What up?
The only podcast you're listening to right at this very second.
Yes.
Unless you're listening to, in which case you're freaking weird.
The best podcast in the world. Brought to you by Planet Earth.
Brought to you by Chunky Peanut Butter. Brought to you by
No, Peter Pan, bro.
He's
Peter
Chunks. He's Chunks. Brought to you by Chunks.
Hey, you guys.
Well, lots to talk about today.
It's gonna be a very serious episode.
Is it?
We're going for the new approach. Very serious. Trying to rival CNN.
Yeah, breaking news.
God bless America and no place else. It's like,
You stay classy. Planet Earth.
Head to state. He's like, God bless America and no place else. God bless America and everywhere else.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
But anyways, you guys were talking about how you had stuff you wanted to bring up. Okay, actually, you know what? I finished Hawkeye today, bro.
I haven't seen anything.
You son of a bitch!
I haven't seen it either.
Oh,
You have had the longest time.
dude, Hawkeye
I
is,
have Disney Plus, so get off me.
dude, I'll give you my password. Just watch them shits already. You're way behind.
Yeah, well, give it to him. What are you doing?
But, yeah, it's so good, man. That might be like, maybe not the best one, but like it's up there. It's
I mean,
great.
I did already have the big reveal ruined for me, so I'm like, fuck. But I still want to know how we get to that point.
Naturally.
Yeah, you still want to enjoy it with your eyes.
Yeah. Because I kept hearing about it and I kept seeing like articles like, oh, so and so might show up. And I was like, nah. And then like finally I seen his freaking face. I was like, what the?
Well, and that's so funny because I was watching a review, like an interview about him. I'm like, what? That's interesting. Why is he in an interview? Like he hasn't done anything recently. So it's like that was like a big red flag. Like he's planning on something because they're like, who do you think you're and this is before these episodes even aired, but he was interviewed and he's like, everyone loves your Kingpin, like who do you think they would fight, like you would fight next, or you would have to go up against next if you're here? And he's like, I think Spider-Man's the only obvious choice. And I was like, what the fuck? And it's just like some random YouTube video I stumbled across, but I was like, that's fucking dope.
Yeah.
And it is really fucking good. It definitely gets let's Clint Barton get his shine on. I'll say that much.
Well, and I also because freaking YouTube, they put everything when you're scrolling on YouTube, they put everything right in the title, and like if you're on your phone, like it'll kind of start playing a little bit if you like just let it sit there. So I kind of started to see I won't throw it out, but
no, we've seen the shit, and Mike don't care.
Mike hasn't seen it.
I don't care. I've seen 2 episodes.
I mean,
I seen her do the little bell thing, and it fucking crashed.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
I don't know what that is, but I mean, it doesn't give anything of the plot away. But it's the whole Yelena bit when she gets snapped and then comes back and all that, and like she's in the mirror, and like I was like, dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, because like how at the end of Black Widow, homegirl from Seinfeld told Yelena that
Clint was
like I killed fucking Black Widow.
He shows up in Falcon and Winter Soldier too. That's why I want to see that.
Yeah, she does. It's good. So does somebody else. I'm not even gonna tell you. Just fucking go watch it because somebody else shows up, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, I need to see it. I actually was just on.
You ever seen Falcon and Winter Soldier yet, Mike?
I tried to watch it with Mike, and he's like,
What the fuck? That's like one of the better ones. That's like my personal favorite one.
No, I think Loki's better. I was like, if we're gonna watch anything, let's watch Loki.
Loki's really good. Well, Loki's the best one, but Falcon and Winter Soldier is my favorite one.
I still need to finish the What Ifs.
Yeah, those
Fucking-
are dope too.
You don't really need to like fucking.
That's-
Those are what ifs, man. Fucking
Yeah.
watch
The
some
zombie
shit
one's
and
badass.
The
Though.
Elseworld thing.
The
I
zombie
want
one's
that.
badass.
Oh yeah, and the one where
Killmonger.
the one where I don't want to say like just because I don't want to spoil what if because those are like other stories.
Yeah.
The one where all the fucking Avengers are dying for some reason. That one.
Oh yeah.
I think I watched that one with you, Brandon.
Yeah, that's like one of the first ones. That one's crazy.
Shit.
Yeah.
Like
that was a good one.
That's a crazy one. That was probably one of my favorite ones. That one and like the Doctor Strange one.
Yeah, there's
Just
some crazy
just to briefly touch on that, it's like sort of relevant. One of the things I was really happy with Endgame is that I liked how they gave Ant-Man the loophole to survive the snap, because making him part of the team that sort of brings everyone back and the time heist, to me anyway, as a comic book fan, that to me felt like an homage to like the original Avengers comics where Ant-Man and Wasp were part of the original lineup. And I just thought that was cool that he kind of got to play a bigger role. Because like when, obviously when the very first Avengers came out and like Loki is attacking New York and all that, like I always thought Black Widow was cool, but I was just like, I don't know if she like deserves to just get like a top spot in the Avengers right off the bat, but that was just my own personal like IMO.
Like you mean in the movies, or like you had known it from the comics?
In the movies.
Oh, well, see,
Ladies and gentlemen,
I know
welcome
that
back to another hot take by Peter 3. He's over here pissing everybody off.
I don't think everyone's gonna be like, yeah, Black Widow.
I'm pissed, man.
That's because you're like born yesterday. But if you go back to the original comics,
I don't believe it.
Black Widow
I don't believe it. I don't
Black
believe
Widow
it.
don't even
This
show up.
motherfucker.
All right. Fucking
Black
Devin-
Widow don't even show up as an official Avenger in the comics till like fucking forever. She's not like a original fucking founding member right off the bat. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I get she was in Iron Man 2. I'm like, yeah, okay, she's got to be part of the fucking MCU storyline. Like, sure, that's fine. But I was like, come on, where's my boy Ant-Man and the Wasp at? And then, bam, finally got his due justice.
All right.
You know what's funny is
Devin,
that the Wasp,
with the rebuttal, Devin.
Yeah.
the Wasp was actually intended to be the main character of the Avengers in like one of the first drafts of the script.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how I would have felt about that. I don't think I would have liked it.
No one cares. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, didn't happen. What have you done? What have we done? What have you done for me recently? What are you doing? I set you up for a fucking rebuttal, and you
let's
missed
just
the
say-
swing, pal.
Coming
Ant-Man
from the kid who hasn't seen Matrix till 2 months ago, I don't care.
This coming from the homie who hasn't watched freaking any of the Disney Plus shit.
Bro, I've been a Marvel fan since before you were alive, so don't even come at me with Disney Plus.
Come on, guy. You can't say you're a Marvel fan.
You saw
and not
Disney on VHS. What the
Come
fuck
on,
you know
guy.
about that?
Disney Plus is for fucking millennials.
Yeah, back in your day, you had cave paintings that you were looking at.
Exactly.
Spider-Man.
That's
Color
right.
televisions. Remember, you had to hit the side to get them to fucking act right.
Remember they had a fucking 100-pound box on the back of them.
Exactly.
Fucking, that was hilarious. Don't talk to me about Disney Plus. Yo, that.
We had to use our imagination with the comics before Toby even came out as fucking Spider-Man. I was like, man, it'd be cool to have a Spider-Man movie one day.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
All we had was Blade and X-Men at one point, and I fucking just
And
watched it
Daredevil.
every day of my life.
We had Daredevil. We had fucking Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Even before
And
then.
we had fucking Elektra. We had Jennifer Garner's ass
Yep.
killing ninjas.
Yep.
And what do we else? We had Spawn.
Mm-hmm.
Spawn was my shit, dude. I fucking watched the shit out of that movie.
We had Steel.
Still,
Deal.
we had
Shaq's ass. We had Up and Away.
Shaquille O'Steal.
We had Up and Away with George Jefferson. He's the Steel Condor.
I like the whole aluminum foil as their weakness.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
He's like, what this? He's like, I use it for breakfast. He's like, oh, Mark Sterling. He's like,
all right. Speaking of Disney Plus, if y'all ain't seen Up and Away, go watch that shit. That's
on there. Nice.
Yeah.
I watched Brink the other day.
Brink's classic.
Oh, dude, you know what I just watched on Disney Plus today?
Huh?
A Goofy movie.
Oh,
a Goofy movie. Classic. Yeah. You know, we were talking like a couple podcasts ago about like a classic you can always come back to. That's That's one.
Yeah.
It never gets old.
The perfect cast.
Yeah, dude. Dad, do the perfect cast.
Shatter.
I've seen this one video. I've only seen it once, and I've never been able to find it again. It's this dude. He's cosplaying as Powerline from Goofy.
Oh, and he's doing the dance. I've seen it.
And then there's a dude that, and then there's another dude. There's another dude who's cosplaying as Thor, and like he does like the lightning thing and like lightning bolts Powerline, and then he does the dance and shit. I was like, that's the dopest video on the internet.
Yeah, that's
and I've never been able to find it again. Like I type in, like you type in Thor Powerline fucking dance on YouTube, it will come up, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
I think I saw that in like a Facebook, like a short, you know, like they have the video.
I might have was, but that was amazing.
You want to know one more thing that I saw on Disney Plus today?
Boba Fett.
No.
Exactly.
No.
Oh my God.
I haven't seen anything.
You need to watch that shit.
What was it again?
Boba Fett.
Oh, dude, Boba Fett. I haven't started it yet.
Bro.
Because I was actually going to go put it on yesterday, but I was like, nah, I ain't finished Hawkeye yet.
There's this moment. Dude, it's so good. I'm like, what the fuck?
The
last episode, like, they take it to another level, and I'm like...
Let me ask you guys this, because we're all lifelong Star Wars fans. And I haven't seen any of Boba Fett, but I also have not seen a single episode of
No, don't say it.
Don't say
Mando.
What?
Yeah. So
that's atrocious.
Give him your fucking Disney Plus after this. Give it to him.
Blasphemy. I don't believe.
Fucking kill him.
Brandon, you better give him his shit after this.
So let me ask you this.
Swine.
So let me ask you this, because I mean, I really don't care what critics say, but I've been seeing it pop up a lot lately that I guess like Boba Fett is getting kind of like bashed a little bit by critics.
That was like at the beginning of the season. Like
no, that was towards the newer episodes. Like the last two they just made. Too.
I think it's
the last one?
The whole series though.
The last two episodes were not received well from. Well, the last one before this one that just came out was not received well, I guess.
Well, so here's my question. Here's my question.
That was like one of the highest ones.
Yeah, me too.
Because like the fifth one got such high praise. They were like, "Yo, best episode in this whole series."
Nice.
And then the sixth one was like a part 2 of the fifth one.
Okay.
So I would have assumed that would have been, again, better.
Well, here's my question.
Is Boba Fett over?
Yeah, the season finale just happened.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Today, actually.
Yeah, it was so good.
So let me ask you guys this: do you think Disney or Lucasfilms or whoever like you want to hold as like the decision makers behind the Star Wars content, do you think they shot themselves in the foot by starting off with Mandalorian, like, because his real, like, the Mandalorian character is Din Djarin, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not well versed in the comics or like the expanded lore of Star Wars outside of like the films and a very minimal amount of books and video games.
Mm-hmm.
But so I don't know if he's like an original character for the show or if he has like a rich history in the universe. But I guess what I'm asking is, do you think they kind of shot themselves in the foot because everyone loves the Mandalorian character so much, and obviously Boba Fett being a bounty hunter is a Mandalorian? Do you think they should have do you think Boba Fett should have got basically the Mandalorian slot like for fans and like
No. I'm just gonna say this right now. At watching both of them, Boba Fett falls short of Mando. Still, Mando's one of the best Star Wars things we've had in years.
Yeah,
years
also,
that have come out.
And it's a little unfair to compare the two.
Okay.
Boba is not an actual Mandalorian. He's a clone of a Mandalorian.
Well, right.
That's straight.
Yeah.
But Din Djarin,
This is
he's
the way.
not really a Mandalorian either.
Yeah, he's a foundling.
Yeah,
So
he's not. So like,
if we're going by,
but
you get what I'm saying. Like as far as like,
Boba really was never like. I read like the Boba Fett books and shit, like when he's like a kid, like right after Django gets killed.
Yeah.
And he, like, Django, like fucking like gave him this book that like gave him like the lessons like that Mandalorian kids like need to know and shit. But like it was never mentioned like, oh, like that's like Mandalorian stuff. I'm pretty sure. I haven't read them in a while, but
yeah.
Once they actually made the show The Mandalorian, making Mandalorians canon, that was like a big fucking huge, because like the Mandalorians have like a rich backstory like throughout the war like of Star Wars.
Right.
Like they're like the most like they're like the Saiyans pretty much. They're like the fucking like the warrior race.
Yeah.
Everybody that went extinct.
Right.
So fucking like for them to like make something like that canon and like put a show that's entirely based around like Mandalorian culture and like shit like that, I think was a really good move. That's what I thought.
But I just mean, go ahead, Devin. You were gonna say something.
I was gonna say that it's
hard
really
to
cool
compare
because it is hard to compare the two because not only is Boba Fett only like a 1-season thing, it also only has 6 episodes, whereas the Mandalorian has like I think 19 or 20.
Well, there's 2 seasons.
Yeah, like 10 episodes each season.
So you get like 2 seasons worth of story arc for Mando.
Yeah.
And then Boba Fett gets a measly 6 episodes, where half of that time is just explaining shit. I'm not going to get into what that is, but you'll see it when you watch it. And I personally think that Mando and Boba Fett as characters, they flip-flop. Like, one's chatty or the other's chatty. One's a badass or the other's badass. There is a point where they do get their time to shine at the same time. But
because
it's so hard to explain because you guys haven't seen it.
Because Din Djarin starts showing up in Boba Fett, right? Like he's like a main.
Yeah, well, he makes an appearance, and I'll say this: there is like a focus on him when he actually does make an appearance. Like he
starts getting the whole what's the word?
Yeah, it's dope. That's actually my best part about Boba Fett. That's what I'm saying. My best part about Boba Fett is all the Mando shit that they have in there. Yeah. And I'm like, like it's setting up for Mandalorian 3, the third season for sure. But it's like,
I'm just saying, like as a fan, when I was a kid, Boba Fett was one of my favorite characters, and I always wanted him to get more like screen time or just more action or whatever. So when Mandalorian TV series was announced, I just felt like, as not even a casual fan, but like as someone, like if you're just going off of like, okay, Mandalorian armor, face, the helmet, bounty hunter, like everything that they did with Mandalorian and that character, do you guys think like that should have, like they could have ran with Boba Fett off the bat with that? Like
no,
like put Boba Fett in Mandalorian instead of Din Djarin?
Yeah.
I think personally,
started off with his
well, and I get what you're saying because you haven't seen it. The only reason why you're saying what you're saying is because you haven't seen any of it. That makes complete sense, because if you see it has a structure to it. It's designed a certain way, and it's like flawless.
And
like,
it worked if Boba was that.
Yes,
character.
so like they kind of build into Boba in Mando with certain things, and you're like, oh, that's that, and then it's like it kind of leads you on, and we're like,
so it's like
since
so it's
the
like
first episode of Mando, you get like these little snippets into like
Yeah.
lore and fandom where you're like, what the fuck, and then it just leads you on this roller coaster ride until you get Boba Fett, and then you're like, oh, I get Boba Fett now. It's gonna be a nice little change, a nice little pace, which is what I like. I want different shit happening in the Star Wars world.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to know, like, to see it, like what happened to him after he gets out of the
Sarlacc
pit and all this other shit, which is really dope how they do it. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to watch it to know, like, they didn't fuck up a damn thing when it comes to that. Like,
and I'm not saying
it exceeded everyone's expectation. I think the only people that would have a problem with it are like the super like
original
fanboys.
Like,
but
that is Star Wars.
Like, well, and understand, like,
take away
the Mandalorian got so much new people. Like, I'm talking about people who aren't fucking reading all the comments and books and into all this shit. They got all those people to care.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is dope.
So
there's like certain shows.
They got like fucking 8-year-old kids walking around with Grogu and shit. Like,
there's like those certain things that just like seem to like get everybody, like get the majority, like The Mandalorian, Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, like shit like that. Like,
like you don't have to be a Star Wars fan to like love the show.
Right. Well, because I'm not saying that the Mandalorian show or even his character is like unnecessary. I was just curious because, like you said, I haven't seen it. If because like Boba Fett, I always felt was like such a
badass dude.
Not underrated, but he was just such like a background but still beloved character that I was just curious. Like, I guess like my question is, is Mandalorian also somewhat of like a world building? As far as a setup, like you said, for Boba Fett.
Well, and as kind of Devin pointed out at one point, where it's like, there's times where he's more badass than Boba Fett could ever be. Like, he's doing some shit that like, they're like, what the fuck? Like, Boba would get his ass kicked if they fought.
And like, there's one line in the first episode within like the first 5 minutes that immediately sets the tone for the whole series. Like, yep, it's a freaking Western gunslinger.
It's pretty dope. It's like, you just gotta watch it. It's something that we've never got from any of the movies or anything before, or like. And the reason why I think we loved Boba Fett as a kid, because he was a big fan. I was a big fan of him growing up too. Is because the mystery behind him. Like, who the fuck is this guy? Here doing shit, kicking ass.
He has a cool
flamethrowing people. And I'm like, so that's what his appeal was, where it's like, the mystery. And then like we got Jango Fett, where I was like, what the fuck, Jango? And I even had a bigger hype for Jango's appearance than Boba, but
he had a PS2 video game, Jango.
I had that shit, and it was hard as fuck.
Good game too,
dude.
Yeah.
I remember that shit. That's crazy.
My favorite Star Wars games.
You had to like open like vent crates.
There was this game that was like slated to come out like a while back, like during like, I'm pretty sure like the PS3 360 days. It was probably like, I think it was like late, like gearing up for Xbox One and PS4, like those days. Fucking there's a Star Wars game that was supposed to come out called Star Wars 29 something, like it was like 2022 or some shit like that. But it was like a Star Wars game set in that universe, but you weren't a Jedi or nothing. You were like a Han Solo type character. Like you were like a smuggler. Like you were like a smuggler dude. And it was like they said like it was like gonna be something like the Uncharted games. And I was like, I was so excited for that game to come out, but then they're just like, nah, canceled.
Yeah, they banned it.
I was so disappointed. Like that's like one of the great like cancellations, like fucking where you're just like, damn, what could have been.
Well, and that leads into like what I was like when I was getting into with Mandalorian. It's like we've already seen like lightsabers. We already know Jedis are badass and Sith are badass, and they have these epic battles. But like what Mandalorian did that I wasn't expecting going into it is that it was showing like you don't need any of that shit for Star Wars to still stand on its own. Like you don't need lightsabers, you don't need fucking Luke or Jedis, but you know, you get little snippets, little fandom shit in there.
Well, that's
like,
kind of what,
without it being a badass show. Like it's fucking phenomenal, and there's not Jedis flying around or doing shit.
Well, honestly, that's kind of
what, but very rarely.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, that's kind of what Rogue One did for me, because I remember, I remember when I first heard about that, and I was like, "What? It's about the crew that steals the plans," and did like I heard there wasn't going to be any Jedi in it, and I was like, "Oh, what?" I was like, "I don't know," but then I saw it and I was watching it. I'm like, "Fuck!" Like it was just so well done and executed that's actually probably one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
It's real good.
Yeah.
And then not only that, but like towards the end, you know, it hits you in the heartstrings and you're like, oh fuck, I really like this movie. And then out of nowhere, I didn't even see this coming. They're like, oh, you want Jedi shit, Frank? You want lightsabers?
Yeah.
Oh, right at the fucking end. I was like, oh my God.
Well, and that's what they're really good at doing, is always putting those little like, what the fuck moments in where you're like, I thought this was gonna be some regular shit, but I'm getting everything I love about Star Wars in it as well.
Dude, Star Wars, like the fucking, it's just like an amazing setting to put any story in. Like fucking like anything, because like the technology that they have, like being able to just like hyperspace travel, like to fucking other solar systems, like other planets, like quick as shit. And it gives like so much potential to like alien races, like fucking that we can see, like fucking powers, like not even Jedi powers, just like powers that some races might have, or like just like stories like that fucking have like that span like all kinds of like different fucking things. Like it's crazy. Like it's a setting that like I really enjoy like that, and like
because it's kind of like
the potential of the universe.
Because I would assume, like, is that why you and Mike are like such big? Well, I think Devin, you've even played. Why you guys are such big like Mass Effect fans? Because like the world is so
dude. Because like
very Star Wars.
They fucked up with Andromeda.
Yeah,
but like it was still a decent story, kind of. But like
it's rich.
That's another one of them where like you could put like a story into that setting, and it's just like fucking so like the lore and like the fucking like the. How much there is just ridiculous.
Because I remember back when the first season of Mandalorian was kind of out doing its thing, I remember one of the biggest comparisons that I heard that really jumped out and like appealed to me, where I was like, oh man, I want to watch it, is a lot of the comparisons to like a Western, like Devin, you said, like Gunslinger. And me personally, I love like old Westerns and cowboy movies and shit. So I was like, fuck, I was like, that's dope if that's like the kind of approach that they took. I really want to see it. But. Yeah,
you need to watch it, because you'll be like, yeah, I know why this is like a worldwide phenomenon.
Especially when that guy,
not even a Star Wars phenomenon, like worldwide. Like I think Mando is bigger than some of the like the older Star Wars shit, just because of
it's such a
it's just the way
and
it is, and I accept
like
it.
the time period that it takes place is like during like. It's like the old movie days.
Yeah, like, it's like right after Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
Yeah, like fucking. So like it's like kind of a throwback, but
well, they were so smart too, because like Mike, like you said, like they knew like they were gonna catch kids and shit by throwing in the little baby Grogu, and like then he's everywhere. He's on backpacks. He's got plush stuffed animals, and you know, like everybody just eats it up and loves it. But
those fuckers knew what they were doing.
They're not. Yeah, they're smart.
Well, and if anything lacked,
crafty, man.
Well, and if anything lacked in the story, like really lacked, like it wouldn't sell as much. Like Grogu wouldn't be as powerful. Mando wouldn't be as good as a character. But so it's like the people that, like, for example, like we were just talking about Boba Fett and how some people are salty about some of the episodes. I don't care. Let them be salty. Like I love all the content. I want to see more. They're like, it's like they're building up to make more spin-offs, which is like, I'm game. Like just give me more shit as long as you do it.
I'm super hyped.
As long as you do it good and fucking do it like Obi-Wan.
They just announced that.
Super hyped for the Obi-Wan show,
dude. Like,
like
just feed me with all that
that's
shit.
one I'm gonna watch like as they come out for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Obi-Wan Kenobi is probably my favorite
see,
Star Wars character.
Who's your favorite Star Wars
Darth
character?
Maul in that motherfucker?
What's up?
Like, could we possibly see Darth Maul in the Obi-Wan show? Like,
he's an important part to like his kind of Obi story because Darth Maul's like, motherfucker, you cut me in half, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, and he ends up killing him, and like finally, in Rebels. I'm pretty sure.
Is it Rebels or is it Clone War?
I'm gonna get metal legs. It's a pretty risky procedure, but it's worth it.
Get metal legs. People will bow to it.
But and that's the cool thing about Star Wars. It's like they can go anywhere. Like even like let's go to the Return of the Jedi era. There was other shit happening somewhere else on a different planet. That's just as interesting as what Luke's doing. Yeah. So it's like that's kind of what it tells you. It's like there's some like everyone's a badass. Like everyone can do shit. Or you got Han Solo doing this, which you know they fucked up the movie at some point, but. You know, it's like that's the whole idea. It's like everyone has strong character aspects that you could follow and be heroes and chase, and Mando's one of the best.
Well, and I think before, I mean, I don't know, because I was a kid when the prequels came out, but I think that's why the original trilogy is so beloved, because the amount of comics and books and spin-off content we got from that original trilogy. Like you guys have just said, like made so many good points with, is like there's just so much good story there to tell and so many characters to expand upon. And like I don't know if they're except for Mandalorian, but again, like that's sort of tacked on to the end of the original trilogy, and so is Rogue One, you know what I mean? Like I mean that's at the beginning, but I think there's something that's just so special to be tapped into that original source material with the original trilogy. I think that's why some of the best content comes from that sort of timeline of the world of the Star Wars lore.
Well, honestly, for me, that's like second place. Like
you could do like the older, like right.
I am like itching for more content from the old Republic era.
Yeah.
That shit was so much sicker, like because like it was like in the earlier days of both the Jedi and the Sith. Like you saw like Darth Bane like doing his shit, like fucking like recreating the Sith, and like you see like there's like civil wars between the Sith and the Jedi, like breaking out constantly. And like there's so much more like badass people back then. Yeah, and like it's so much different, like because like the Force and like Force users are so like everywhere in that time. To like the time that we got like in the originals where like Luke is like the only Jedi left. And like but like Darth Revan, like if they would make a trilogy of movies about Revan, like that shit would pop the fuck off. Like I just like I can't wait for some shit like that to come. And like we're getting a remake of the old school Knights of the Old Republic game, and like
I saw they just released Force Unleashed for Nintendo Switch.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That game's dope too.
You did what with Force Unleashed?
They just released it on
Oh. Sweet.
I'm gonna pick that up.
Yeah.
But and that's like on your point, Brandon, you were talking about like the older kind of lore. That's what I think it's building up to. It's like because especially with Star Wars fans, for some reason, they're so like they don't want anything new. They don't want you to fucking fuck with any of their dreams or their fucking ideas. They don't want you to fuck with any of it. They're against it. You're gonna make Mando, fucking I'm against it. You're gonna make all this shit, I'm against it. Until they do it, you know, it's like they started with Mandalorian and they're slowly building to be like, we know what the fuck we're doing. Like, just shut up. Like, let us do what we do.
Well,
and then when they win the fans over, then now they can make new content and it doesn't have to rely on the fucking original 3. Yeah. You can get those and you can get Revan, and you can start throwing in these touchy characters, that if you fuck up, you're never going to hear their end of it forever.
There will always be bitching.
Yeah.
If they could just let Jon Favreau direct everything and just like release things on his schedule. I'd be fine with that. Like,
and Dave Filoni too.
Yeah, like if they could just get them two together for everything that they do, like that would be fine with me.
And that's why I think they're George Lucas.
3 years between seasons, I'll fucking do it.
And you know what's crazy is like the guys from Comics Kings pointed out on the last episode, I think when you go back to besides fantasy, I think Star Wars was like such a big pioneer and like trailblazer for kind of fandom that we have for everything now. I think not even in a sense of like as a consumer, but I think Star Wars was such a big influence on people in a storytelling sense. I think that's why directors and writers and just filmmakers in general and actors alike would love to just be a part of that universe and keeping it sort of alive, because it inspired and influenced so much in just movies and storytelling, period. You know what I mean? So like that's sort of like the precursor to the, I don't want to say comics because those came out in the 60s, you know what I mean? Like even before that, honestly, like, you know, 40s, 50s, if you really want to go deep. But as far as just like a spectacle, seeing it on a screen and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
You know, I think like that really, like, it was a cultural phenomena, you know, like people had never seen anything like that before. Yeah. So I think that inspired a lot of people to want to be actors, to want to be directors, writers, you know, screenplay writers, whatever have you. So,
well, just compare the original trilogy to anything that was coming out back then, and it shits on anything. Like it literally shits on all those other movies. Like, and I'm not saying there's not good movies back then, but Star Wars level, no. Like they're still to this day, it's like they're still not making Star Wars level type shit.
Well, I honestly haven't, like, I don't really know what movies are like that I've seen are from that era, like fucking like, because like the first Star Wars like 75. I think it's like 77.
I think it's like 73 or 75.
Let's find out.
But yeah, I mean, back then, sci-fi wasn't a big thing, you know what I mean? So like you had a lot of more grounded, realistic sort of stories being.
1977.
Nice.
77?
Yeah, was A New Hope came out. So I'm pretty sure it's the same year that my dad was born. He was born in 77.
That's dope.
But
you're right. That's so crazy to think about, because I feel like the only thing that is like close to that age is like Back to the Future or something. And that still came out after.
85, yeah.
Like, so it's like, yeah, there's nothing in the 70s that come fucking close to it.
I'm gonna have to look up like some 70s movies.
70 hits. Star Wars.
Let's find out.
Welcome back to Hit or Miss with
movies that came out in 77.
But while he's looking that up, I'm gonna just talk about Mando again.
Well, actually, Mike, before you get into that, because it kind of segues, like what we were just talking about with Mandalorian having that sort of Western style to it. That's what was big back then when Star Wars came out. Is Clint Eastwood was killing it with the Western cowboy game. You know what I mean? So
I actually really enjoy those old Westerns.
I love those. Yeah,
those are fucking awesome.
But that's like, but you know what I mean? Like as
they had like kung fu movies.
Bruce
really
Lee,
big back then too.
Absolutely. You're right.
All right, fucking the 77. It had some good ones. Like it's not a.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a banner year for movies but we had Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh shit, that is a good one.
We had The Hobbit, like the animated joint.
Old school.
Oh, damn.
Not compared. No comparison still.
We had Smokey and the Bandit.
Okay, that was a big movie.
Saturday Night Fever.
Okay, that was a big movie.
Yeah. Fucking Eraserhead.
I don't know.
I've never seen it, but I know it's like a well-regarded movie. I'm just saying out the ones I know.
It is pretty dope.
Let's see. There was another one that was coming up. The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh,
the original.
Horror
Damn,
was big back
I
in
need
the
to see that. I've
70s.
never seen the original.
Yeah,
I gotta see that shit.
I've never Annie Hall. I've never seen it, but I know it's like a well-loved movie.
Annie Hall.
Yeah, it's like a fucking movie a lot of people like. I've never seen it though.
Is it Annie? That'll come out tomorrow.
Sleeping Dogs.
Huh.
And let's get one more.
Star Wars.
Come on, and
That's what he's skipping through right now.
Yeah.
No, that's the last of Star Wars.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Close Encounters was a big sci-fi movie back then, honestly.
What was?
Close Encounters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like there was like Dune, like the original Dune and shit. I'm pretty sure back then, wasn't it?
I want to say that came out maybe a little later, but I didn't even know this until
84.
From Comics Keen's pointed this out. I didn't know that George Lucas took a little bit of influence and inspiration from the original Dune books when he was writing.
I've honestly never read those books, but like that is something that
because I know that the original Dune movie is highly regarded. So one day I tried to like sit down and watch it. I'm like, all right, let me check this out just as a fan of like sci-fi and
And you didn't get through it.
And I was watching. I'm like,
highly regarded. I
was like, this is boring as fuck.
I don't think it's highly regarded. I think it's just like if you like the books, like you like the movie, maybe.
If you like the books, you'll love the movie.
Well, no, it is though, like as a like culturally, like just like people like Star Trek, Star Wars, like Dune is another.
I don't know. I've always heard that people think of the books that way, but every time I hear someone talk about the original movie, it's like what you were just saying. Like it's like, fuck, man, who's I deserve this?
Because I know that some people. I'm not gonna say widely across the board everyone loved it, but I know that there are people like it has a big following and like a cult
classic.
It's more of a cult classic.
Critically acclaimed.
But I was so spoiled by lightsabers and like cool fight scenes. When I'm trying to watch them, I'm like, oh.
Speaking of that, bro, I was so like, 'cause Star Wars was the first sci-fi movie that I ever saw. I remember we had 3-pack of the VHSs way back in the day.
Yeah, with Yoda's face.
Yeah.
Yoda's face, Darth Vader, and a Stormtrooper.
Yeah, fucking shout out 90s kids, dog.
Yeah. They'll never know.
I watched those movies and I was like, holy fuck. Yeah. These movies are insane. Like, this is crazy. Like, lightsabers are the coolest thing I've ever seen. Yeah. And like, then like, I remember like a while after that, I heard about Star Trek. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, maybe this will be like something like Star Wars. Like maybe they got lightsabers in here too, like some other shit. And like I tried watching it, and I was just like, what the fuck is this, man? Like, what are they gonna fight something?
Yeah,
like, cause Star Wars has so much action in it and shit. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, when's something gonna blow up, man? Like,
well, and what's funny,
like it was too boring for me. So I honestly have never seen a full Star Trek episode like all the way through, and I feel like that's a shame because I know people love it.
Well, and you know what's crazy?
Now that I'm older, I feel like I could appreciate it now if I tried to watch it.
Well, and you know what's crazy too is I didn't realize until as I got older, just doing research and the more I got into just film and TV and you know what I mean, like from that kind of standpoint. But Star Trek was such a big phenomena for TV that it was international. You know what I mean? And it was more of a
like Doctor Who.
Yeah, and it was more like it was more of like people didn't just tune in to start, like people that weren't even sci-fi fans watched Star Trek because of William Shatner and because it was more of like
Patrick Stewart,
a space op. Well, he came later. I'm talking about like the original, like what's his fucking name? What the fuck is his name? Lazarus Kirk or whatever. But like people tuned in.
Lazarus?
Tiberius,
yes.
Lazarus Kirk.
But like people tuned into that show like because of like the drama and like the like because of it wasn't because of like the action like that we like from.
It was like a soap opera.
It was I
know like two things from that show. Like I know that
phasers.
I know that William like Shatner's like fucking a different alien bitch like every episode.
The ladies loved Shatner back then.
And I know that if they were wearing a red shirt, they're probably gonna fucking die. That's what I knew. That's what I've always heard.
Well, and you know it's funny because you were just talking about like you never fucked with it. Like I thought the same thing. I was like, because I was really into like sci-fi because of Star Wars and shit like that, and like I just always been huge into sci-fi. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna go check this out. And then I didn't vibe with it. Like the graphics were watered down and it was just like harder to get into. But that saying that, like I fuck with the newer shit. Like I fuck with like they even have a new show. I fuck with that. It's called
that's right.
Discovery. It's called Star Trek Discovery. I fuck with that. I fuck with the new movies.
I don't know about 2 and 3,
but that's about it.
Chris Pine joints. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. I don't know about the 2 and 3. But I really liked the first one of the new movies because even Chris Hemsworth shows up as fucking Chris Pine's dad at the beginning. It's crazy.
Well, and what's cool about the show,
and it has to deal with time travel and parallel universes, and it's.
Well, you want to hear some IM shit in the show? The main character's name is Michael, but it's a chick. It's a chick named Michael.
Cool.
But it's like it's what's dope about that show. It's still going. This is a show that's still making episodes.
Oh, the show. I thought you said the movies.
Discover. It's called Discovery.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure homegirl from Walking Dead is in that.
It's dope.
Chick, the she played Sasha. Pretty sure she's in that.
She might be. I don't know. I've been slacking with it. Like I'm like into the 3rd season, I think, but I haven't seen any episodes and I don't plan on watching more anytime soon. But anyways, what I was saying, like what's dope about that show is it's like more sci-fi, if that makes sense. It's like real sci-fi where it's like they'll talk about like shit that's like a real scientist would be like, oh, that's some fucking dope shit. Like that's some dope shit how they're doing this. And
well, you know what's funny?
With DNA, like real shit that you could picture in the near future.
Well, you know what's funny is like,
oh, that's fucking sick.
Well, what's crazy is I remember being a young kid and like sometimes you'd be surfing the channels and like if you'd be on Sci-Fi or whatever other channel would play it, like the when Star Trek was still big in like the 90s, like Next Generation and like Brandon, like you were saying, when Patrick Stewart finally comes in and we get Picard and all that. I remember being like, okay, I'm gonna try to watch this because what I did appreciate about it was like a lot of the like the alien, prosthetics that the actors had to wear and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, I'll check it out. But I swear to God, every random episode I would catch or every time I would try to watch it, it was just every fucking scene was just someone talking to someone in one room. Then they'd walk down the hall through a fucking door and they talk to someone else. That was the entire fucking show. I'm like,
yeah, dude, that's why I didn't fuck with it. I was like,
that's what I'm saying. The same,
like, it's boring as fuck. Like it's just like
I was like, God,
it's a soap opera with aliens.
I mean,
like,
I can appreciate their newer shit, but if I had to pick one, it would die. Star Trek would die.
Only pick one.
I would let it drown.
Like, no doubt, it'd be. They wouldn't even get done asking the question. I'd be like, Star Wars.
Well, you know what's funny? That's why I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie, but that's why I liked Galaxy Quest so much.
I love Galaxy. I was just about to talk about
Galaxy. They made fun of the Star Wars and Comic-Con and Star Trek phenomena.
It's a real good fucking movie too.
It's hilarious.
No, damn right, I've seen that movie. What the hell? Like, that's fucking. That's Alan
Has
Rickman.
Devin seen it?
Highest. That's Alan Rickman at his fucking.
Have you seen Galaxy Quest?
Rest in peace.
Alan Rickman.
What did you say? What are you?
Have you seen Galaxy Quest, Devin? No, that means no.
He's not even. He's diddling with his thumbs over there. He ain't even fucking paying attention.
Yeah, what the hell? Where's your participation at? Fucking put in the comments a forfeit Devin has to do in the next video because of this behavior.
Fuck.
Yeah. So
go run laps.
No,
you don't deserve that shield.
Yeah. Take it down.
Why don't you take it then?
My father made that shield.
But anyways, we were saying Galaxy Quest, the movie. Have you seen it?
I have not.
Fucking go it.
Go watch it. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm not paying attention anyways. Go watch that shit right
now. Hang up the call. Go watch Galaxy.
What the fuck? I'm paying attention.
No.
But you know what's also crazy about the last Star Trek thing, I'll say? I remember one of the big movies that came out in like the early 2000s was Star Trek Nemesis, right? And at the time I was kind of going back and forth between my mom and dad's house, and I was hanging out with my dad one weekend, and it was like it had just came out, like it maybe had just went to DVD or whatever, and we just picked that up randomly. We're like, oh, let's check this out, because you know, at that point, even though it was a show, they would still release like a movie every now and then, you know, that would like go and do really big at the theaters,
like anime.
Sure. But we picked that one up and watching it, and that was another like boring one. I'm just like,
yeah, dude, fuck it. You're like, oh, it's shit.
But you know what's crazy? Who made his first big debut in that movie was motherfucking Tom Hardy.
What?
Yeah, he was the villain. Yeah, go check it. Go like look it up. It's crazy.
Crazy. I think I might have heard that actually.
He was a bald guy.
Eddie Brock.
I can't really remember. Like, what's the first? That's probably like the earliest thing you ever seen him in, right? Obviously.
That was like literally the first thing. Yeah.
I think my first Tom Hardy movie might have been like Inception, dude.
I'm not even gonna say what mine is because I'm just gonna get made fun of.
Inception was dope too, and actually that's what I originally wanted to talk about. That's so funny, but
was it Venom?
Like,
Venom?
No, it wasn't. It was not Venom.
You guys ever see Rock and Roller?
What do you think I am?
What's the one that he's in with Shia LaBeouf? It's like
Lawless.
Lawless. Oh yeah, fucking love that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Fucking, you guys ever hear the story about how like they say Shia LaBeouf knocked him out on the set of that movie?
Yeah.
There was like some stuff going around that they like.
I always hear rumors about Shia.
I watched.
Shia tells the full real story on Hot Ones.
Yeah, he does. He tells his story it's not like that. Like it wasn't like an anger thing.
Mm-hmm. They were just brother messing around.
Yeah, fucking, and like Shia was naked at the time.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, because he was like with his girlfriend or something like that. Yeah. But like, yeah, it was funny.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Speaking of Shia's Hot Ones, by the way, I've always like by some miracle, if I was ever able to get onto that show, because I'd love to do it. Like maybe we do that on the pod. We get all the sauces and we try them.
Yes.
But
you know, bro, I literally asked you.
Hold on.
That.
Anyways,
oops.
I always wanted to, like, if I ever got on the show, I would get, because like you know how they do the last dab with the very last sauce. I would do a dab for every sauce. Like I was like, that's like my thing that I would do. And Shia does that. He does that. Like he was like, oh, you guys just do it on the last wing. Like let's do it on all of them. And I was like, of course Shia would. Like,
he killed it too.
Fucking Shia would have fucking done
killed
that.
It.
Yeah.
The best Hot Ones there is right there.
Yeah. It's like definitely a upper tier of Hot Ones. It's like Shia, Bobby Lee, Theo Vaughn,
Idris Elba,
and like Russell.
I still haven't seen the Theo Vaughn.
Funny. And
Mike, did you say
did it recently? I haven't seen that though.
What was I?
Mike, you said you had something you wanted to get to. I don't know if we touched on it, but
we were talking about Inception. That's originally what I wanted to discuss, but seeing how we're on Star Wars, it's like that Inception has to be its own thing. Like
yeah.
So we'll just stick with Star Wars, but going back to Mando, just watch it. That's all I gotta say.
just watch that shit.
Just watch it.
Like, we're just gonna reiterate. Fucking watch
I'm gonna download Disney Plus after
fucking
this shit.
Watch it.
Send me.
Watch it.
Don't be shy. Watch it.
Oh shit.
But yeah, like because they're like now I feel like they're just getting the ball rolling. Where it's like
Dude,
they're gonna make
like,
more spin-offs. They're gonna have they're gonna have so many Star Wars shit going on a year down the road. Like it's not just gonna be Mando. It's gonna be a bunch of
Obi-Wan. We're getting the Ahsoka show.
Ahsoka.
We're getting there's like gonna be like I don't know all the other ones, but like I know there's like a few more. But those are the ones. Speaking of fucking like spin-off shows, dude, like one that I didn't know was gonna be a thing was I know you guys haven't seen Hawkeye yet, but the bad guy in that, like the one who's not like the ultra bad guy, Echo, she's getting her own show. And I was like, what's that one gonna be about? Like, why is that?
Is she the mute assassin?
Yeah, she's deaf. And like she does sign language and shit.
Yeah.
And
I understood her, bro. I didn't need the subtitles.
I didn't. I don't know sign language.
Yeah. I want a show with her and Makari from Eternals, just the whole.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I was like, do I know any other deaf superheroes? And I was like, oh shit, fucking Makari. Like she's
my beautiful Makari.
So cool because Hawkeye's going.
Fuck her up though. Like,
whoa! Never mind. I'm not gonna say shit. I almost
what?
Nothing.
You think Makari?
No, just forget what I just said.
All right.
Whatever. I always try to.
Forgotten.
I tried to.
I'm just gonna say this, and you covered this a little, Brandon, but I just want more Star Wars games. Just more. Dude. Just give me more. Like
there's fucking like
give me more.
Like I really got to do a better job. Like since we got the podcast now, I got to do a better job of like watching news related things that I care about when they actually happen.
Yeah.
So I can talk about them because like I'm always just like, oh, I read the headline. I'm like, oh, sweet. I'll check that out later.
Yeah.
Like they just announced Jedi or the Fallen Order 2 is officially been announced. We got Knights of the Old Republic remake coming, and they just said 2 other we got Star Wars Eclipse. That's 3. And then we got 2 other ones that were just announced, I guess, but I don't know what those are.
I want to go back to like the Nintendo 64 days of Star Wars shit. Like they just they just put out a bunch of shit. Like so many dope shit.
PlayStation 1 days.
Well, like Shadow of Empires. Remember that game? Remember Shadow of Empires? You actually are like on Hoth, and you're actually
you fly around in the ship,
flying around, and then you're not only that, you're fucking shooting shit later, and I'm like, what the fuck? That game, dude, consumed my life.
I was never good at the game.
The original Xbox, PS1, actually, just the original Xbox was the best era for Star Wars games because KOTOR was an Xbox exclusive. So that was on original Xbox. We also had Battlefront 2. Then we had the Jedi Knight games. And then fucking there was one more. I always forget what it is, but that was just a magical time for Star Wars games, bro. Fucking Republic Commando.
But Brandon, have you played Shadow of Empires?
Yeah.
Like
for the Nintendo 64?
Yeah, I had that shit. That was like one of my favorite games ever. And I was like, what the fuck?
There was like, 2 oh, sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
The fact that like you can fucking like I don't know, there's just so much dope shit in that where I was like, what? And you're just some random dude, like you're not even and you're like a nobody, and you're just fucking doing shit.
But dude, you remember Republic Commando though, right? Like fucking like how dope that game was.
That
like,
game was sick.
That's another example of like doing a story in Star Wars. You don't need no Jedis, you don't need no lightsabers, and it's just dope as fuck. Because like you were one of the like you were like a crew, like a four like of like elite clone troopers, and like it was like some like Navy SEALs type shit, like rolling with your squad, and like you all had like different jobs and shit, like. It was dope as fuck, man. Like that's and if I could get a sequel to any Star Wars game, I'd be that one.
Well, and a game that was really dope was the original Battlefront 2. The original Battlefront 2 is one of the dopest Star Wars games.
Yeah.
Because you used to be able to not just have space fights, but you would be able to like go in the other one's ship and like sabotage their ship and fuck shit up. That game was fucking phenomenal.
And if I remember right, like you played through
scenarios and stories.
Yeah, I remember
Battlefront 2, the new one.
Dude, the original Battlefront 2 shits on the new one. I don't care what anyone says.
But anyway, from when I was a kid, two random ass Star Wars games I always loved playing. One was like a Mortal Kombat style, like just versus, two
like Jedi Power Battle.
Well, that's a good one too. That's so I guess 3. But it was called like Star Wars Warriors of like Xterra or some weird shit. I'll put an image in the chat. But you could be like, Luke or Darth Vader versus like what?
Just put it in the comments.
Yeah. If you guys know, if anyone watching knows what I'm talking about, but there was that one, and it was basically just like a versus, like fighting game. But then there was another Star Wars game. I don't even remember the name of it. If anyone knows, put it in the comments, or maybe you guys know. But it was like another sort of battle royale type of game where you picked different ships to fly as, and it was like an arena sort of battle game. But what I liked about it so much is that you could play as Boba Fett in that game, but he was the only character that if you played as him, you weren't in a ship, you were him flying around with his jetpack. Yeah, and I was like, that's the only reason I ever played that game. I was like, fuck yes, Boba Fett all day.
I don't know that one. I don't know either one of those games.
That's kind of crazy because Boba Fett has like one of the most iconic ships.
Yeah, Boba Fett's shit is like the dopest one, and it's like between the slave. Is it Slave I or Slave One?
Slave One, but they changed the name to
all right. So. I've always said one, but I just want to know.
Rules.
Either that one or it's Millennium Falcon, or I could even make a case for the Ebon Hawk, which is Revan's ship in the games.
I don't know why I like the sound of TIE fighters so much.
Dude, they're sick. Yeah, they're sick as fuck. I love that sound. Yeah, that was good. That was a good one.
Do it again.
What?
So do it again.
Yes.
Oh, that's perfect.
That's the name.
Like, that's the title right there. Just RAHHHHHH.
RARG3.
Yeah, we're gonna have to discuss how that's gonna look in the chat, but that's definitely in the name now.
And have
looking at it like, what are these dudes fucking stupid?
Have an image of like a TIE fighter, but with like Devin's face in the middle, like with the two things flying.
I'll just have a TIE fighter.
Yeah, you gotta fucking do that now. You gotta do that now.
That's gonna be in the new intro.
Yeah, you have to do that now.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna put the new intro that we were just discussing, the wasted at the beginning of this one. If everyone's down. But speaking of video games, I remember way back, bro, like I think I played like the first Star Wars game that ever came out. and it was on PC. Someone had it, and I was like, "What the?" It's kind of like Doom, like the old school Doom, but it was Star Wars, and I was like,
first person shooter.
Yeah, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Look it up. Just look up old Star Wars game. I bet it's probably it was just called Star Wars. It was literally just called Star Wars. Like it didn't have any title after that. But I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, at this time, this is before I even was like heavy into the movies. Like this was like one of the very first games I ever experienced in my life. And all the video games. I was like, what the fuck is this? Because I just seen someone playing it. Like, I don't know, one of my mom's friends or something was playing it. And I was just like a little kid, like, ooh, what the fuck's going on in here?
Again.
Yeah, that's it. And I was like, this is awesome. And he let me play it for a little bit. And I was like, dope. Like, now that made me a gamer. Honestly, that's the story of how I became a gamer.
The first Star Wars game I remember playing is that you remember at Chuck E. Cheese they had like the joystick one where it was like first person and like you were like using the lightsaber and shit. That was my shit.
That was dope. You remember like I haven't been to Dave and Buster's in a long time, but they have the fucking pod racing. I was like,
the pod
what?
racer, dude?
I remember the first time I saw that with the actual pod racers you get in, I was like, I'm gonna fucking play the shit out of this.
Yeah, like
I actually bought that game at Blockbuster. But I didn't buy it, but I took it. Don't tell them.
Thief!
Don't tell.
Now this is pod racing. But yeah,
I didn't buy it. I just rented it for 7 days, but I was able to beat it. I used to beat games and then say they didn't work, and then
that was the move too. Or if you got a game and it was shitty, if you got a game and it was a shit game, you just go back like, hey, this didn't work. Can I get a different game?
Well, I used to. I
remember I did that like 3 times in the same day once.
Well, I used to take it to the extreme where I'm like, if I beat this fast enough, I can take this shit back, get another game, and play the shit out of that. So like that's one of those games I like just grinded as a kid because I didn't have other shit to do. I was just like, grind this shit out, beat it in a day or 2 days, fucking go back and just say that I didn't have a chance. My mom couldn't take me or whatever, and then get another one. That's the move. Life hack that you can't use.
Yeah, but like you can't like there's no life hack like that. No.
Remember another life hack, another Blockbuster life hack is you get the game. There's a game that just came out, but your mom's like, we can't get that shit. You ain't got money, whatever. So the move would just stash it behind like Barbie's World and come back for that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like you'd put it behind a really shit game.
Dude, you know what's funny? Because I wasn't the only one who had that mindset. So like when I would go look for a game, I would look under all the fucking games. And I would find them. I would literally find the one I was looking for through just finding, like looking at like Barbie's World.
Yeah, like I'd find some world. Dude, I'd be like, you motherfucker. Like
I know, I'd be like, I'm on, yeah.
You slime motherfucker.
I'd be like, you're gonna be one pissed kid. I'm playing this shit.
Fuck yeah, that shit used to be like, dude. Speaking of Blockbuster was a magical place.
It was a magical place. I'm sorry they couldn't evolve.
Frank, you remember that time we walked down to
Sharky,
and Frank got hugged by like a drunk homeless dude. It was weird as fuck. That was like one of the first fucking like time. Like that was so funny.
Yeah, that was one of the first early adventures we ever had.
That's so funny.
One of the classic Brandon and Frank mess arounds.
Well, another OG move was to check the slot. Ask them, yo, check that slot.
Yeah, did anybody return anything, motherfucker? Did it get returned? Did you check the returns yet? maybe it got returned. You haven't put the box out here yet. Check that. I remember I'd call them too. I remember like nobody probably remembers this game, but it was called Overlord. And it was for the 360. And I remember like I heard about it and like I was like, holy shit, this game sounds dope as fuck. So like I obsessed over it. I called them like every day because I knew Blockbuster had one, but like I never got it. And like I was like, yo, you got Overlord? You got Overlord back yet? You got Overlord? Like I call them like every day. I'm like, what's up? I was like, I can't believe someone hasn't just been like, hey, Well, I'll tell you when we got Overlord back, right? Because I called them motherfuckers every day. And then, like, my grandma knew the lady that, like, worked at our local Blockbuster. So, like, I could be like, hey,
nice.
Put that aside for me. Like, fucking hold the game for me or two. Like, it's like, so.
They see your caller ID show up.
Devin, I got a question for you, Devin. Have you ever experienced walking into a Blockbuster?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a wee lad when they were around.
I mean,
I was but a boy.
He was at the tail end of it.
I kind of there's like a special there's a magical place, you're right. Like I kind of pity the people who never get to experience that. Like literally
just like
looking and spending like hours just in the game aisle,
dude,
choose your destiny. Like fucking
hours, but like fucking
dude. It was
30-45 minutes that mom would let us.
Like and like the like adrenaline rush. Like you just be like you'd be rushing to get there because like oh, I know they got this game. If a motherfucker takes this game before I get there, like if like
you would get so hyped.
Like, you get in and you just like beeline to the game section and you just like just like snatch that shit.
You would get so like there's times like that's the perfect example. Like there's times I knew exactly what I wanted to get. I'm like I'm beelining it there, fucking, and you're in the car like hyping yourself up, like. Go get that shit. You're already visioning playing it.
Yeah.
And then you didn't have like
the times you would game manual and they didn't have it. Like it was gone. Like that would be people
and kids like, today don't understand this because you can just YouTube a game.
This fucking game, I guess.
I deserve this.
Well, on today,
like that was one of those. Like I deserve this. Why God? like I know there's some other bad kid that. Like some other kid got this game. Some other bad kid. God, what the hell?
Well, and this is something that. Well, and this is something that like kids these days will never like have to deal with because we couldn't just like YouTube a fucking game to see what it was all about. Like we're just like, oh, this game's dropping. We got to go see what it's about. That's why like sometimes we would try a game and be like, this is shit. It broke. Like, give me another game. Because we didn't have like access to like reviews and all this other bullshit. You had to like buy a subscription of magazines that got mailed to you and like other shit.
We had like Game Informer magazines.
Yeah, I had Game Informer.
If you weren't fucking like or like if you got stuck on a game or something like it's stuck on a part, you couldn't just YouTube a tutorial either. Like, how do you get past
you
this
had
part?
Big strategy books that were this fucking
like
thick.
fucking like a fucking size of a steak.
I remember I got
your Bible
Final Fantasy 10,
dude,
and I had the strategy book for it. I was like, if I didn't have that strategy book, I would be so fucking lost on all this shit.
Dude, speaking of that game, okay, like I got one of my great gaming revenges on that game, like coming up. Like I swear to God, like back in the day, like I never like cause like the leveling system in that game is so weird, like it's like that big ass grid. So like when I was a kid, like I would play and like I would never really even fuck with that because I didn't know what it meant. So like I could never get past this boss because like I was trying to beat him when I was like level 1 because I never leveled up and shit. So like as an adult, I'm gonna have to go back and fucking show that game what's for.
Yeah, dude, I played the shit out of that game, and at the time the graphics were so stunning. I was like, what is going on with this? I was like, that's fucking crazy. But
I was
if
like
I didn't
one
have
of the
that
first
strategy
that had
book, I would
voice
be lost.
acting too. Yeah, like because that was like because what Final Fantasy 10 because like the one right before 10 was the first one that was on PS2, and that was the first one that had like these 3D looking like movie like CGI cinematic cutscenes and shit like that, and fucking like and it was the first one with voice acting and shit. Like it's a legendary game. It's not a very well loved like by like, a lot of Final Fantasy fans, but that's like my personal favorite one.
But yeah, you haven't to talk about like Blockbuster one more time because it just came up. Like you haven't been in a pickle until you've been in a Blockbuster for 40 minutes and your mom's like, hurry the fuck up, let's go. And I was like, just a minute.
Pick one.
Like, you don't know what it's like.
You're like, Mom, Mom, can I just get 2 games? Like, I'll do extra chores, like stuff like that. Like, can I just get 2?
Fuck that. Pick one.
And she's like, no, all right, you're not getting 2 games.
1 movie, 1 game. That's it.
Like fucking, and like, so yeah, so you gotta pick between, and like the one that you don't pick, like it's like you're sacrificing it. It's like it's a real Sophie's choice.
Like, oh, I don't know if I'll ever see this again.
Yeah,
like you're like, I don't know. They might, like, the person might keep it. The next person that gets this.
Well,
like,
you know what's interesting? I've made choices, and I've never played that other game. Like, I've had to choose, and I've never experienced that other game. Like, now that we're thinking about it, I've never picked it back up. I never went back for it. It was it was like in the spur of the moment. You're either getting played right now or never.
Yeah,
you're deleting it.
That's where the timeline split.
Oh, Blockbuster!
My last Star Wars note that I'll leave on is I don't know how you guys feel about the prequel trilogy. Me personally, I'm a big fan of the prequel trilogy.
Love them.
But I remember one of my favorite moments from that trilogy is because back then, again, like, it wasn't like we expected a movie to come out every year, every other year, every 2 years. So it was like, and back then, the internet was so primitive back then. It's not like you could just go on and be like, oh, updates on, the movie coming out. You kind of just like found out about it if you went to go see another movie, and then like the preview came on. You're like, what? Yeah. They're making another fucking, Yeah. But one of my favorite experiences with the original trilogy is going to the movies. And I don't even remember what movie I was watching originally, but I just remember the preview for Attack of the Clones came on, and it was like a very vague teaser trailer. And the whole time it was just Darth Vader's like, and it would show like images. It would show, you saw Hayden Christensen as Anakin grown up. You saw like Obi-Wan Kenobi when he's trapped in the like floaty, spinny thing when he's on the creepy bug planet talking to Dooku. Yeah. And then I remember just losing my shit when it showed Jango when he's fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi on the Rain planet.
Dude, I love that part.
And he's like flying up behind the pillar. I didn't know because, like at that time I was still so young and I didn't know about all the lore, but I didn't know it was Jango, his dad, and like in that particular scene, it's so dark and like the lighting and shit. I could tell that like his armor was all shiny and crisp and stuff, but I didn't know that it was like a different color palette and all that. So I just thought like, oh shit, that's Boba Fett, like before his armor's all fucked up. And I just remember being like so overjoyed and so hyped for that movie to fucking come out.
And speaking of the original trilogy, that's like, I love that. Like I that's the one I've seen the least, but I love it. I need to see it again. It's like even how it starts with them like in that fucking arena shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, that shit was sick.
I'm sorry, Master.
On Attack of the Clones?
Yeah.
It doesn't start with the arena, but
yeah.
Well, it's kind of at the beginning.
No, but it's very much at the end.
Well, whatever. I loved it.
Because right after
that just shows you how long it's been since I've seen it.
But what were you saying, Brandon?
That is like the helmet that Boba has, like in the original trilogy, like lore-wise, like that is Jango Fett's helmet, like the one he wears in the prequels. Because that's in the books. That's like, I'm pretty sure that's the only part that Boba's like able to recover.
Well, it's canon. It's made canon in The Mandalorian season 2 that the whole armor, the whole set, is his father's.
Yeah, passed down.
And I'm kind of scared. I'm kind of scared to watch Boba Fett because the little bits of Mandalorian I have seen just on YouTube and shit. One of the characters I really like in Mando is the guy that has Boba Fett's armor for a little bit, Cobb Vanth or whatever.
Yep, Cobb Vanth.
The fucking bad guy from Girl Next Door.
Yeah.
And
it's gonna swell up like a bitch. Put some ice on that shit.
Yeah.
But I just thought he was like a really cool character in Mando, and then I started watching a little bit of this clip where that Cod Bane guy or whatever shows
Cad
up
Bane.
in Boba Fett, and like they're about to have like the little duel. And I'm like, oh god, I can't watch.
Yeah, you definitely, on an end note, like just watch it first and then go into Boba.
I deserved it.
Dude, it's so good. You're gonna binge it. You're gonna binge it if you haven't.
Send me the password right now, Brandon.
In my opinion, that shit that they're doing right now is better than what they're doing in like the Marvel with the Marvel shows.
Nice.
Just my personal opinion. I'm a fan of both, but I would rather take the Star Wars shit. Like,
yeah.
Give me more.
Hell yeah.
Oh, all right. We've said on an ending note for like 5 different times.
Oh, yeah,
that's ending note.
End note. That's the end note.
Yeah.
On another ending note.
On the real ending note.
End it off.
You got to say that at the very end. You got it.
Oh god. All right. Links down below. Yeah, do your thing, Brandon.
Like, subscribe, put the links in the description, all of that good stuff.
Comic Book Novice, Mystic Mike, Frankenstein, SoundCloud, all that jazz.
Webhead, who's below me?
Yeah.
It's me, Webhead.
Yeah, I don't know how it'll show up in the
ultimate. Yeah, subscribe to all that shit, like all that shit. We out of here, y'all.